full name is Antone Matthew Zanzinger, nicknamed Tony, Staff Sergeant. We went to Fort Benning, and for 4 weeks we did training to jump. All right. The first week was calisthenics, and the cadre there would run it and give us calisthenics. As it turned out, we canceled that because we were so, I'm not bragging, but we were so much better than them. That's how Con Johnson got us in shape. That's how good we were. And so the first week we didn't do any calisthenics. We did them, but on our own, because we were accomplished more. The second week was more or less like injuries and things like that. If you had them, what to do in case of emergencies, anytime. All this stuff was put in that the second week. The third week, we went to what they call the towers, and they would put put on a jacket, and it was just like a harness, and it had a static line on the back of it. And we would climb up a tower 30 feet high, and you stand there, and we had to stand a certain way, like we're going to jump and all, and they say jump, and we would jump. Now we would drop 20 feet, and that cable was at the end, and they would boom, stop. It jerked the heck out of you. Then when it stopped, you bounce, and then you slide down on the cable, and when you hit the ground, you had to hit and roll. This is the way this is like the tower. Then they had the tall towers, 250 feet, and they took you up in a parachute that was all inflated, and the risers were all down, and they had the whole setup like you hook up on the back of your parachute, your static line, and they take you up on these towers, and you had to be careful because the wind would catch you. You go into the towers, and you couldn't steer these things. So they figured how the wind was, and they didn't put you on that one side. They wanted you to blow away from the tower. Some guys did hit the tower, but fortunately the chute didn't collapse, so it was dangerous. So we did that the third week. We did that so many times, and it became normal. Plus, we had different cables that we jumped again, 50 feet high, and jumped straight down and stopped in midair. And same thing, like, well, maybe I'll get to it later. We did all these things. You can't believe the amount of physical education that we had. The fourth week was actually jump school. We went and they prepared us to adjust your parachute. The first time we jumped, we packed our own parachute. Okay? So we were the fourth stage. So we packed our parachute, and everything was packed, had to be right. So they said, just throw it in, it'll open. We didn't believe it, and we wouldn't try it. What we did, we took our time and made sure that all the pleats and all the lines were in line. They weren't crisscrossed or anything like that. Two things that happened with our chutes. They were all white. That's the only kind we had. And when they opened up, you jump out of a plane, and as soon as that chute opens up, you go about 20 feet, and that static line will pull your chute out. And when that chute opens, you're going from 90 to 100 miles an hour in a plane. And when that chute opened, boom, zero, you stop. And your back and your whole body is pulled apart. As of today, I still have bad problems with my back. And yesterday I raked the whole lawn, and I could hardly walk this morning, but I worked it out. But that's some of the things that we had to do. When the chute opened and that shock was over, you had to steer the chute, and you can't steer it. The only maneuver you could do, you had to make sure when you're going to land that you're with the wind. If your back is to the opposite, you can take your hands up like this and grab the risers and pull them and twist them and turn your body around. That's really the only maneuver you can do. Sometimes you would climb a little bit to try to let some air out so you could go a different way, but it wasn't the right thing to do. You could clap your suit maybe. So this is one of the things that we dreaded, the opening shock. Now when we come to land, keep your feet about 6-7 inches apart, bend your knees, don't keep them straight, because you're going to hit the ground 15 to 20 feet per second. That's almost 15 to 20 miles an hour. You hit that ground and you plow. And yeah, you black out. You hit so hard sometimes. Some guys land standing up. But the next time they jump, they don't. It's the way you hit the wind and things like that. And the weight, your weight is a big factor. When you hit the ground, all you do, you just holler to the next guy, how you doing? You hurt. And if there's anybody hurt, you holler medic and stuff like that. But these are some of the things we have to cope with when we jump. The opening shock and the landing. And a lot of times, guys would actually bump into one another in the air. It's scary. And you would think your chute's going to collapse. I saw one where a guy hit the chute and he swung underneath and he grabbed the guy. The two of them landed together with the one chute. And they hit that ground. The guy, they both were hurt, but they ended up okay. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, because I had a guy almost come hit me, and but that was okay. He went by. These are some of the things that you have to have. You need 5 jumps to qualify. 4 in the daytime, 1 at night. The 4 in the daytime you're jumping at 800 feet. And the 1 at night is around 1,200 feet. The ground that we landed there was in Fort Benning, Georgia. It's sandy and a lot of cactus and things like that. And you would get a lot of that stuff in you, you know, when you land. But after the 4th jump, then you go to the night jump. And it's scary. So when we do hit the ground, it's hard to see unless there's a moonlight or something like that. You just plow, and it's a wonder you can walk. So that's the part of it. On the 5th jump, you actually become a paratrooper. They give you a ceremony, then you get your wings. And every time like here they are, right here. These wings here, and I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stars on the wing. It's 4 battles. They pin them onto that wing. And after we get our wings and all, they get us set up to go home. And believe it or not, from Fort Benning, they give us another week to go home. And because we deserved it. I mean, with that training, in the morning, I'm going back now. In the morning, we would have to run 5 miles before breakfast. 5 miles. and if you couldn't make it, you're out. That's some of the things that Johnson wanted. He was a fanatic on running and speed.